LA City Council okays a $14 billion budget. Yeah, they're spending less on police and fire department, but hey, they're keeping that $7,000 per homeless person per month in the budget. They're saying that's a win because it used to be $17,000 per month per homeless person. Yeah, things are looking up. Let's get into it. Here we go. I love these PR images by podcaster Newsom. He's just out there making a difference. He's raking up some garbage that, got put back there the next day by some whacked out sociopath from a homeless encampment. Anywho, Los Angeles. You know what? We're going to watch a video. We got a good video here. Let's watch this video. You got to wait for the councilwoman on the end of this video. It's pretty funny.
The LA City Council just approved Mayor Bass's budget with a number of significant changes. Good evening once again, everybody. I'm Michael Brownlee.
And I'm Carolyn Johnson. Colleen is off. The revised $13.9 billion budget is for the 2025-26 fiscal year, and it's expected to slow down police hiring and new spending. NBC4's Conan in the newsroom now to break it all down for us. Conan.
That's right. So this was not easy. It was a marathon session. When it was over, the LA City Council approved that revised $13.9 billion budget. This following cuts in spending, the result of a shocking $1 billion budget shortfall. There will be job cuts, not as many as have been proposed by the mayor's budget. Councilwoman Katie Yaroslavsky, you'll hear from him in a moment. She says the fire department budget has been spared in large measure because of what happened in the Pacific Palisades. Councilwoman Tracy Park said, however,
so bad.
The cuts weren't needed because of what she called wasteful spending on homeless initiatives.
Including $80 million for new fire trucks and helicopters, upgraded equipment, faster repairs, and $1.5 million for payroll software to ensure that they have what they need. The proposal also shifts resources within LAPD to restore over 150 specialized civilian positions. It's bloated,
here we go.
Homeless spending, a bottomless pit, and taxpayer boondoggle that doubles down on failure year after year.
Yep.
And frankly, at this point, it's just embarrassing.
Close the roll.
That's Councilwoman.
Tell us how you really feel. It's just embarrassing. Absolutely. You're spending $7,000 a month on homelessness. I mean, that's just per person, not on all the other nonsense, the millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's just a homeless industrial complex. Let's finish out the video.
Tracy Park, she represents the Pacific Palisades, one of three individuals on the council to vote against this budget. It passed overwhelmingly, though. It now goes to the mayor. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4 News.
Guaranteed that mayor signs that budget. Oh, yeah. Let's get this done. Los Angeles City Council passed a $14 billion budget that reduced citywide layoffs by cutting police hiring and fire department spending. Anytime you're cutting public safety services, it's like, yeah, it's tough to go back on that, right? Oh, we'd like to reclaim some of that budget. This doesn't really work that way. The approved budget uses emergency funds, such as $29 million from the budget as stabilization fund, to pay for ongoing regular services, which is typically only done in a recession. But, times are tough because your mayor was in Ghana when the Pacific Palisade fires broke out. And so fire department didn't really have the resources to do what they needed to do, which is fight fires. So now when, funding comes up for the fire department, they get a 2 thumbs up. They get just a green light. Oh, whatever you guys need, let's just keep that whole Palisade fire thing just under the radar. Let's just keep the temperature down on that bad boy, because that wasn't a good look. Mayor's in Ghana. Mayor deleted her text. I thought I was complying. I wasn't. That suggests the city has a structural deficit created by spending more than revenue will allow. City has a structural deficit. It's a nice way of saying they're going the wrong way with the budget. They are spending more than they are earning. And that's how these governments work, isn't it? And then they pull from stuff they shouldn't be pulling from. But hey, let's not worry. That's $7,000 a month for each individual homeless individual. What is LA has 75,000, or city of LA, not just LA County, but city of LA has 75,000 homeless people. Notably, the budget cuts $36.63 million from the LA Fire Department proposed budget, reduces new police hiring in half from 480 new recruits to 230. Half. That's not the direction you want to go. That's just not the way you want it. You need more cops. You have public safety issues. How about that massive looting, break-in event that happened over this past weekend? What about that? At the same time, it restores funding for animal services. Oh, phew. Ooh. I mean, I like animals. I like cats, dogs, okay. Animals, yeah. I mean, some of them are good to eat, right? But funding for animal services and creates a new Bureau of Homelessness oversight under the Los Angeles Housing Department. Like the lady said, this is just a spending boondoggle. That just every single time you turn around, there's money going out the window for nonsense you don't need, for programs that don't work, because the homelessness keeps getting worse. Councilwoman Tracy Park, whose district stretches from LA International Airport to the fire-demolished Pacific Palisades, questioned the city's continued funding of the LA Homeless Services Authority. That LA Homeless Services Authority should be immediately disbanded. I mean, and I think it's in the process of that, right? We've talked about that. I've podcasted on that, which has failed all recent audits and from which Los Angeles County recently voted to terminate its funding and relationship. Yeah, we're no longer going to be funding you, and our relationship is, let's just say, ended. Ended? Yeah, because you simply didn't do your job, and we give you money to do a job, and homelessness, again, has been, going in an upward trajectory. And we reimagined when we rethought our relationship with you. And you know what we decided? No. No is the answer. Spending $1.5 million per door to build micro units of housing to give away to homeless drug addicts when the vast majority of our own city employees could never afford a condo at that price. I don't think we should agree to spend another penny on homelessness until we cast a vote on whether we're finally getting a divorce from LAHSA, that's the agency we just talked about, and what the future of homeless services delivery looks like in LA, said Park at Thursday's meeting. Unfortunately, it's kind of like defunding the police. When you defund the police and you don't have a whole nother system to fund and get up and running, you've got a real problem. And that's where LA sits with LAHSA, which is the Los Angeles Homeless Whatever Authority. They're the ones that are just completely bungling their job. If you take them down, what are you left with? What entity is going to take care of the homeless? And there's no entity right now that's doing a great job. There's nobody that's stepping up and, making that happen. And that's what LAHSA should have been doing all along, but clearly just hasn't. And $1.5 million per door. That is insanity for this micro housing. $1.5 million. You know where the vast majority of that goes? Vast majority of that goes to administration of the homeless industrial complex. It goes to people's salaries. It doesn't go to homeless people. It doesn't go to actual construction of these micro units. Some of the money that does go to the micro units is just layer upon layer upon layer of nonsense, because otherwise there is no way it's going to cost $1.5 million per door. That's literal insanity. Remember when we used to talk and somebody made a comment the other day in the premiere? If you want to chat with me live online, I'm on most premieres at 9:00 Seattle time, Monday through Friday. Take the weekends off. But if you want to chat with me there, and somebody was saying, hey, remember the good old days when we had a $15,000 toilet that we thought was wildly expensive? And now we've got these $1.5 million toilets. San Francisco, kind of really got that one going. And yeah, it's a real stainless steel. It is stainless steel, let me tell you. No, it's literally like a bomb shelter to protect against the homeless and their endeavors to destroy the restroom. because that's what homeless people do. They destroy things because they are out of their mind. Out of their mind. Last night, I went to Seattle's, and I'll be talking about this a bunch. I went to Seattle's Rattle in Seattle. It was the same religious group, a church group, that had a worship service on Saturday in Cal Anderson Park over in the Chop Chaz zone. And 23 members of Antifa or Trantifa got arrested because they were just going ham on the church people. I mean, literally attacking them. And then our mayor defends the Trantifa people because, LGBTQ. And so last night was Tuesday night, and the church group held basically a 2.5 hour long outdoor church service in Seattle City Hall. And I went and attended that and got footage. There's a video of it. Should be up by now when you're watching this. But during the course of that, I talked with a homeless dude talked with a homeless dude, he carried on a conversation, and I kind of didn't listen because he was missing most of his teeth. He lived a couple of blocks down the road in one of these SROs. He was homeless. He's covered. He doesn't work. He just runs around without a shirt on. He immediately whipped out a doobie. Back in the day, we used to call them, started smoking that. And I, just like you smoking a cigarette, you know what I mean? Just going for it. We're on a street. There's cops all around. He could give a crap. He's homeless. He doesn't really care. And he just starts telling me about the world. And I'm like, okay. And you don't have to work. You literally walk 2 blocks down the road and you go to your little house there. World doesn't make any sense, but because the rest of us are out working, so that this dude with no shirt and no teeth, but smoking a doobie, can just live his best life and tell me about, the world's troubles and how MAGA is just terrible. It's like, they're oppressive. It's like, you've been watching too much CNN. Yeah, whatever. Park also attacked the cuts to the proposed Los Angeles Fire Department budget and the halving of the new LAPD officer expansion. Well, you got to get those cuts from somewhere. And when you're spending all your money on the homelessness, hey, you hard tax-earning citizens, you're going to get screwed. This is what it looks like. We're going to give $7,000 a month. Wouldn't you like to get $7,000 a month for doing nothing? I mean, literally nothing. Not going to rehab, not going to, your psychiatric appointments, not going to the doctor to get on your meds that you desperately need. But just running around, doing drugs, destroying hotel rooms, destroying SROs, whatever it might be, lighting fires. So many of the calls, especially in Los Angeles, so many of the calls specifically go to the homeless community. They're just lighting shit on fire. It's dry, it's hot, and the homeless love fire. They love fire. It's just, this is great. Fire. Beavis and Butthead, fire. We just witnessed in January with our own eyes how desperately in need Los Angeles Fire Department is, talking about the fires, with literally half the staffing and funding they should have for a fire department in a city of our size. But hey, you got that homelessness covered, right? $7,000 a month? Tasty. There are still 100 rigs sitting over at the boneyard. I keep hearing about this. There's 100 rigs sitting over at the boneyard, but we're sitting here unable to say yes to the mechanics that we need to fix them. That's terrible. That is terrible. You should stop spending on the homeless because it's wildly out of control anyway. Get your fire department back up and running. And when that's all squared away, then give your city council the incentive. All right, we're done with that. Now let's look at homelessness. And in the meantime, you got the purge going on, right? Because you got a bunch of homeless people just running around lighting things on fire. And you need more fire department. We're shrinking LAPD in favor of expanding other programs that haven't been effective. Homelessness. Because everybody's all behind the housing first ideology, methodology, whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't work. And we know it because we've been trying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And literally definition of crazy, right? Expecting a different outcome. Not happening. And we're going to get it right on the cusp of major world events. The Olympics. It should be fine. It should be good. Now, a lot of people on the premieres, 9 a.m. premieres, have been talking about the Olympics, Los Angeles and the Olympics. Like, how's that going to go? Should be fine, right? And in the midst of a crime and homelessness crisis, while our residents continue to be victimized in a city where the former deputy mayor just pled guilty to calling in bomb threats to City Hall. That's the state of our city. Hey, LA, City of Angels, right? Is that true? The former deputy mayor pled guilty to calling in bomb threats? What a knucklehead. The adopted budget is mostly the same as the mayor's proposed budget, other than the aforementioned yada yada. Homelessness spending is nearly $1 billion. $1 billion. With $107 million still appropriated for the Inside Safe program. Inside Safe currently spends upwards of $7,000 a month to house a single individual, said Rodriguez at the meeting. That's just room and board and services. Well, room and board, that's one thing. That's the physical and your food and that stuff. And services. Services is an enormous part of that deal because you've got psychiatric services, you've got healthcare services, these people are really needy because we've allowed them to just do their thing, do all the drugs they want, live wherever they want. And now you're trying to get them inside, you're trying to get them into housing, and you're not forcing them to get off the dope. So how do you think that's going to go? It's not going to go that well, and it's not going that well. But here's where the article kind of does a little. At $7,000 per individual per month, Inside Safe costs have decreased significantly since 2023, when the program cost $17,000 per individual per month. $17,000 a month. What are they spending this on? That is just sheer insanity, isn't it? It's like, what are you doing? Well, like the lady said, it's massive bloat. And it's programs that don't work, and it's council members that don't know how to run businesses. And this is one of those things where you've got a budget, you've got spending, and you've got income. And a budget needs to be made out of that accordingly. And now you're prioritizing the wrong things. Get the fire department squared away. Get your cops squared away. Let the homeless people just, it'll sort itself out, right? Escape from New York style. Yeah, the purge style. Yeah, it'll sort itself out. I don't know what the solution is for a lot of this stuff, but it isn't what we're doing right now. And you think with all the geniuses out there, somebody could do a study. We do study. What was all the studies that, Doge was cutting? What were all those ridiculous studies? Let's study the impacts of trans mice. Let's study the impacts of that. And you're like, what? What does that even mean? But homeless people down from $17,000 a month during COVID, post-COVID, to $7,000 per month now. It's $100K a year for these folks, right? It's like, where does it all go? Where does it all go? That's the huge question, right? Where does it all go? I don't think anybody knows. LA certainly doesn't know. California doesn't know. Billions of dollars just off. Keep hearing about, we're going to have an investigation on this. We're going to have an investigation on that. The problem is so out of control that even with a deep dive investigation, with no real systems of accountability, I don't think you're going to figure out where all this money has gone. You're just literally not going to figure out where it goes. We know where it goes. Goes to a bunch of salaries, goes to a bunch of people. It just gets funneled. That's why everybody is so worked up over Doge. Their funding was getting cut. Oh, we don't want that. We love government excess because we're getting it. Not me, not you. Them. They, them, right? They, them. Oh, man, I heard a lot of that last night at the Trans-Tifa rally in Seattle. Oh, it was just... Woke up this morning super early because I couldn't get that. Just ridiculous. Whose rights, trans rights, whose rights, trans rights out of my head. It's not the way you want to wake up. But you hear that for a number of hours and, it gets in your head. Got a video coming out. That should be a good one. But I'm all done with this one. $7K a month. Seem reasonable? No. It's what we're doing. All right. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.